Hi, I'm Kara McElhone from the Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County, and I'm here with Abbey Tenczar from Chicopee Public Schools and Andrea McCallhone from Easthampton Public Schools. And today, as we go on to talk more about parenting in the summer of 2020 and the unique challenges, I focus right now on self-care. How do parents take care of themselves so they can take care of their kids? And we want everybody to be healthy and strong and better when we go back to school in the fall and we continue and create a new normal. So, Abby, tell me about the importance of self-care. Why does this matter?
Well, I think that, so there's two sayings that come to mind. One is that you really can't pour from an empty cup. So you really have to fortify yourself in order to be there for anybody else. And then, you know, when we're on an airplane and the flight attendant is telling us to use our oxygen mask first before we put it on our children, there's a reason for that, because, you know, we need to be able to breathe. We need to be able to, you know, have what we need in order to be able to give. And I think that sometimes people, women in particular, or people that are in helping professions, sometimes feel like they're being selfish, you know, if they take time for themselves. But you really have to kind of move away from that sort of attitude and understand that it's very important. And it's also, you're being a really good role model for your kids when you take care of yourself and they see you doing things for yourself that they know help. You know, so if you're about ready to lose it and you say, okay, mom's going for a walk right now, and you come back and you're refreshed and, you know, you're ready to handle things, then that's really good role modeling.
And do you want to share any tips that either of you do in terms of taking care of yourself during this time?
Sure.
Andrea, you want to start?
You know, for me and some of my friends, in order to take a break, I might go on a walk. Maybe it's a walk with a friend, or maybe it's by myself. I personally like to garden, so it's been really lovely to have a spring and be outside and be able to putz in the garden. Music always helps me. I like to dance, so listening to music can be really, really nice, or even just laughing to, you know, calling up a friend and being social in that way. Cooking, reading, yoga has really helped quite a few of my friends. I'm personally not a yogi, but that can be really, really relaxing. Other exercises, some people are utilizing, you know, their therapists that they might have had prior, and then using telehealth to really help them out during this time.
So can we talk a little bit about how some parents have really no break, right? Like this is particularly single parents. Some folks really just, they can't carve out as much time as they would like, even if they know that that's what they should be doing. Can we talk about some ways to help them manage through that difficult issue?
You know, I think it's important to note that no one is going to handle this perfectly. This isn't all new for all of us, right? And we're all trying to do our best through this. So taking care of your own mental health as a parent, and, you know, like Abby said, really trying to take care of self. And I think trying also not to compare your pre-pandemic self to now, because we're all adapting to this new normal. And we have to, you know, try new strategies to balance our needs with our children's needs. And, you know, occasionally we might lose our cool, right? I think Abby touched on that too. It's important to take a break, because habitual impatience or withdrawing or being putative is really going to reduce the effectiveness that we have as a parent. So again, the importance of self-care and being able to take breaks, and sharing responsibility if you're able to with a partner. And I think, Carol, like you said, it's can be especially difficult if you're a single parent. So finding what works for you to be able to self-care and take those needed breaks and not feel guilty about that. That's really,
Right.
really needed.
Yeah, and I think that, as far as getting your kids occupied with something, you need to find out some activities that they can do independently so that you can take that break. So, I think we're going to be putting up some more resources as well. But you can, put something, I know we want to kind of stay a little bit away from devices, but there are some really great educational things that are online, like you can do some virtual field trips, or there is a link to a virtual comm room that one of the counselors at in Chicopee Public Schools created, where there's lots of things that kids can sort of do on their own.
It's a wonderful resource. It's really great.
And that's really for all ages as well. I mean, my daughter's 15 has used it. So, younger, it really is all ages, adults as well. So,
and I think self-care we're talking about self-care for parents, but they're really good modeling tools for your kids to not only to know that you're doing it, but also to do some of the very same activities, whether it's taking a walk, being outside, spending time in safe ways with your friends. The things that make you feel healthier and more balanced are the same things that your kids will want to be doing as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do you have any, when you talked before about sort of comparing yourself to others, how do you not do that during this time? I mean, so many of us look online and see that people have, learned to bake bread or play the guitar or learned a new language. I mean,
Right.
How do you take care of your sort of, the fact that if we get through to tomorrow and are doing our best, that's good enough? How do you not compare?
That is such a great question, Kara. I mean, I think that we all struggle with that. Personally, I do as well. I mean, I think we all tend to do that, especially with social media out there, Facebook posts about, oh, I just, redecorated my whole house and repainted the entire interior or whatever. I mean, sometimes, stress and anxiety really limit people's motivation levels. And that's okay. So I think just like self-acceptance, like it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can. No, I'm not learning a new language, right now. Maybe I will later, but that kind of thing. So just, being gentle with yourself, and trying your best not to compare, I guess.
Yeah, taking one day at a time. It's hard not to be judgmental, right? And especially towards ourselves, but being able to do the best you can. And reminding one another of that so that you can truly believe that it's okay. I'm not going to be, super mom or super aunt, or that it's one day at a time. And that this is all new for everybody, to remind ourselves that there's no right way. We're all going through this together.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I think also when we talk about self-care, we can't ignore the fact that there's physical self-care right now. Making sure that you're continuing to, wash your hands and wear your masks, because, while we're really fortunate, Massachusetts seems to be doing okay at this juncture. We want to make sure that we're physically, protecting ourselves as well as mentally protecting ourselves through this time, so that we can take care of our kids.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Kara, I think that there's differences in terms of families. So there are people that are living with family members who have who are immunocompromised, and they have to be more careful. So I think also, teaching your kids or talking to your kids about how, your family might be different than, your best friend's family, who might not have that issue, or not living with, an elderly grandparent or something like that. So, the way that you're going to allow your kids to go back into the world might look a little bit different than other people. So getting kids to understand that and accepting that for yourself too.
That it's okay to do it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had my daughter say, well, everyone's, going over to so-and-so's house, having a pool party. Well, I'm not ready for that yet. But we've done some we've done it slowly. So it's really individualized in terms of family.
And it's a good point that people do it differently. And so we respect each other's choices around what each family might need.
Absolutely.
You know, and I like to think about, so what are what's some good news right now? And maybe the thought around self-care is the good news. You know, maybe the fact that, you know, people are going to focus on what's important to me, how do I take care of myself?
Yeah.
Is one of, and another point of sort of good news is that we're entering a wonderfully beautiful season here in New England.
Yes. We're so lucky to live in this valley. To be able to, if we have vehicles, to take a drive and do a nature walk, to go for a swim in a stream or a river, or and there's much to do that does not cost. So being appreciative, like you say, of the season and being able to be out and not cooped up in our homes. Thank goodness it's not January. Right. So that is a silver lining, that we're entering summer and we can be out and do those things. And again, I think to your point about how the physical health really protects us against being vulnerable emotionally. So giving permission to take care of yourself. It's not selfish.
Right.
We really need to do that to take care of ourselves.
So I'm going to share.
Valley.
Yes, I'm going to share some resources again, and some of them have local parks and places to walks and take your kids, or go by yourself if that's what you need, as well as some other resources around, like the calm room we mentioned, and some other sort of self-care resources available for both parents and kids. And then when we come back, we're going to start talking about strategies. You know, we've talked a little bit about sort of the overarching challenges, but what can parents do in terms of pragmatic strategies to be the best parent they can during this time? So let me get these resources up so I can share these. And once again, they will be on our social media and on our website. And these are some local resources for caregivers. If you're struggling and you need some food assistance, we have some resources here. There's some links to some great area parks that you can go. Most are free or very low cost. Some yoga and movement videos that you can go and watch with your kids or just on your own, stretch your body and your mind. As well as some apps for mental health in that terrific virtual calm room that Abby mentioned earlier.
I'm excited to visit that virtual calm room.
Yeah. And I love yoga with Adrian. She's one of my favorites. My daughter and I do.
That's great. And I just want to add in, because you did put the food assistance up, Kara.
Yeah.
For families to check their school websites to find out about meals that are still available through the summer, and you should be able to get that information on your school website.
That's a really good point. Our schools are still providing resources, information, access to community resources throughout the summer. Just because schools technically close, that doesn't mean that the schools aren't here for families and kids all year round.
Right.
So thank you. And next we'll talk about parenting strategies.
Thank you.